Hi, my name is Rick White with Sportsman's Warehouse, and today I want to talk to you about some rigging techniques for swim baits that I like to use out on the water. When you first think of swim baits, typically you're going to think of a pre-rigged, hook exposed, big 8-inch swim bait like you would use in California, big bass, open water. And this is a very effective technique for a pre-rigged swim bait when you're fishing open water, rocky structure, over deep water. Doesn't really work real well when you're fishing in weeds because of the hook exposed, as you can tell. Most of these do have a secondary eyelet that you can rig a stinger hook or a trailer hook underneath. But I want to show you some other rigs of swim baits and how to rig them that you don't normally see already pre-rigged in the store. First one is a simple jig head. It's a swim bait head and a standard 4-inch swim bait. What you want to do on something like this is I like to measure, putting the head right up against the front of that jig head, and I want to measure and see where that hook needs to come out of the back so that it's not kinked, so it hangs straight and runs true. On this one right here, I can see about where it needs to come out. I usually mark it there with my hand. And you'll start at the front of the swim bait, and you'll run that up and around, and you want to pop the eye out, or not the eye, excuse me, the point of the hook out right where you've got that marked, right in the center of the back. If you get it off to the side, it'll kind of kink and not run true. And then simply just push it right up and over. And there you've got a 4-inch, 5-inch swim bait rigged with the hook exposed, much similar to this one. I like using a lot of these kind out where I fish, largemouth, smallmouth particularly. I can go to a smaller swim bait. I can actually change out the color of swim baits really easy, go from a white to a watermelon to a more shad type pattern, and really get the bait that those fish want. That's really good around open water, over deep water, rocky structure. Not as particularly effective in weeds or timber conditions. However, the next one that I usually like to rig up works well in those type of grassy, weedy conditions. This is a 6-inch swim bait. This is a fairly large EWG worm hook. On these ones, you want to rig these up so they're weedless. So I'll show you how to do that. On these ones, you want to come straight in from right in the front of that swim bait, straight down to the bend of the hook. You don't want to go all the way up and over like we did in that first one with the hook exposed. Once you've got that up to the point, you want to make sure you pop this hook through right in the center of the belly, like so. I'll usually kind of wet down that hook a little bit so it slides easy. But then simply after that, you just take it up and you rotate it as you get towards the eye, and it pops right up and over that, sits right on that neck of the hook. And then again here you can measure where the hook needs to come through the back so it's not kinked. And I've got that mark now with my fingers here. Simply go to where that mark is, slide the hook up to the back, and important to make sure that it comes right out the center. Otherwise it's not going to run true. And then this one you can take it and you can pop that hook up in there so it's weedless. And then you can fish that over grass. You can flip it into brush and timber, and it's not going to get a hook with grass, or it's not going to snag up as easy as one like this will with the hook exposed. So effective open water, rocky structure, over deep water, suspended fish. This one I like to fish in grassy flats, where there's timber and weeds. And that works really good to keep the bait clean so you can fish it and not get hook in there. But if a fish bites it, he's going to get stuck, real easy. But you can sit here and run over and over this thing nonstop, and you're not going to get hung up. But like I said, if the fish bites it, he's going to get a hook with that extra wide gap hook. The other way I like to really rig my swim baits is when I fish spinner baits. Fish a lot of spinner baits, and I usually really like to fish swim baits as my trailer hooks. Same thing as I will rig up similar to this, but I'll put it on a swim bait. So start right in the front of the swim bait, and this one you're going to want to wrap around all the way, and you're going to come out at the top of the back, right in the center, and you push this and slide this up and over, up onto that spinnerbait. And then I'll flip this and I'll fish that in grass, even open water too. Flip it in almost like a jig. Flip it and let it helicopter down the trees and the stumps, and that swim bait kicks back there, moves a lot of water. It's a good muddy water and also clear water presentation because it really imitates the fish and it's got good color and detail, but it moves a lot of water with that paddle tail in the back. Those are the three ways I really like to rig my swim baits when I'm fishing for bass out in the West.